Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today is...
Kyle McIntyre.
All right, we got a whole bunch of what's news, Kyle.
Yeah.
So what's shaking, what's grooving, what is good in your life?
I got a couple things in the mail.
Okay, you got mail day. What's up?
Yeah. I got a pedal that I've been just anxiously waiting for a long time.
It's been,
But it was totally worth it.
Worth the wait.
Yeah, I got my Peach Trees pedal. That's what I've been calling it. So it's a pedal from Like My Pedals. I had custom made. It's 2 circuits. It's dual overdrive. It has the Marshall Law and the Green Envy.
Mm-hmm.
So the Marshall Law obviously is a Marshall like JCM circuit style. The overdrive section of the amp, and then the TS or the Taylor Swift circuit tube screamer. Has clipping options, which is kind of cool. I also have an order switch, so I can kind of mess with it.
Yeah, that's pretty key.
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad that I added that in because it sounds, you flip that and it's like way different.
Yeah.
Which is cool. You can kind of pick and choose when you have, I think I guess you'd kind of want the amp first, or sorry, the tube screamer running into the actual Marshall. Right?
Yeah, usually I would go just conventionally. You would do lighter gain into higher gain.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to be able to have that option.
Yeah.
I'm sure like people are, for years I was doing it the opposite way. I was having a light drive after a higher gain thing, and it was yielded cool results. So it's good to have that option.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool pedal. I just popped it open and looked on the inside just now. It's really cool, actually. Looks like a lot of hard work went into this thing.
So that was so Joseph from Like My Pedals, he does the it wasn't, what's the kind of boards?
The perforated board, perf boards.
Yeah, you were saying it just looks like a lot of work.
Man, yeah. It's got like the copper strips, and then it's got the it just looks like
LED.
Clippings. He's got some clipping clipping LEDs on the inside.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So yeah, I may have another pedal coming down the line too. We'll see.
But yeah, so the artwork was from...
Yeah, this is the Dread themed pedal. So this is the building they go into.
So Dread from what?
From like
2012 or the newer, whatever the Dread remake.
Yeah,
is it a remake?
It's not really a remake, but
just they're like, oh, we're gonna.
It's not like the same storyline.
Yeah,
but it's
that movie's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's kind of random. I was like, I was just like, I can't really think of like any other thing right now. I just want a Dread pedal.
Anything that speaks to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the building they go into, that's what I have on here. And the building's called Peach Trees.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like a delicate name for such like a really like high gain pedal. It's kind of cool.
What was it? Yeah. It was also just like fucking kick ass movie.
Oh yeah.
Just like a good.
So
yeah,
that should be pretty cool. I also got some sinusoid cables.
Okay.
In the mail the same day.
Yeah. So it was
so I just got some patch cables, some extra long
slivers.
Yeah. Just got slivers. Got like just 4 of them.
So you were running into like some problems when you're making your pedal board. You're like, I don't have enough cable.
Yeah, so I'm like, I might as well. I would rather have too much than too little.
Mm-hmm.
So I went like with a 12-inch cable.
Yeah,
they're pretty long, but I'm like, there you go. I ain't bitching no more.
Yeah, I got plenty of cable right here.
Yeah,
nice.
So that's what's that's like new stuff that I've acquired. That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian? What for new stuff?
Yeah, so I actually have a Craigslist story. So
I'm ready.
I bought like a George L's cable kit like a long time ago. It was like the $80, $90 one.
Yeah.
The make your own cable kind of deal.
Screw
cut
it,
screw it, And then they're pretty okay, fine cables. Like it's just to me with like the solderless kind of cable things,
it's always a chance that it's not going to actually work.
Yeah, I mean, like
or break or disconnect.
Like I've never had them break on me, but like I think you even saw like one time I was like, oh, let me build a cable real quick, and you saw like, oh, just clip it, screw it in, and then screw the back, and you're like, oh, that doesn't work.
Weird. That's interesting.
And so we clip the end again.
Yeah.
And then try it again, and it does work. So what did you do differently? Nothing.
Probably just the way that the little screw went through the shielding and didn't make it all the way through.
Yeah, and so you just clip the end and try it again. Anyway, so George L's, they're pretty good. They're fine. And they're small, they're fairly low profile. They used to be like pretty small and now compared to other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh, for my mini pedal board, I was like, oh, I had one which was like a pancake plug and it added so much more space to it as compared to a George L. I'm like, oh, shit, I need
those
7
slivers, dog.
I need 7 cables and I only had 6 in the pack. I'm like, fuck, well, whatever. It's not that big a deal. I don't need any of these. But I was like, oh, man, I don't want to buy like a 4-pack of, cable ends. I don't want to buy like a whole new, like pack with cables. I have plenty of cable. So I was like, man, let me just try looking online. I saw them go like for $20 for a 4-pack of like the little ends,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I need 2 really. So I was like Craigslisting it. I'm like, you know what? Let me just type George L's. And then somebody was selling them and he was selling each end. He had like 20 something of them. And I was like, okay. So I emailed him and he responded back like, oh yeah, no, I have like plenty available. I was like, I only need 2. It's like, oh, I'm in La Mesa, part of, San Diego.
2 ends or 2 sets?
2 ends. I just need two end pieces. And he's like, okay. It's going to be $8.90. $8.90 exactly. That's what he wanted. He's like, I need $8.90.
What the hell? Here's $9, dude.
And he's like, what? I'm like, who? I've never gone. And I'm like, you know what? You wanted change? I'm giving you fucking change. Giving him 9 dimes.
That's so weird.
I'm like, maybe he has like,
there's like a set, like,
yeah, I'm like, to be able to make profit on these, he calculated this is exactly what I need to make off of these.
He has a spreadsheet.
Yeah, $4.45 per plug is what
was he wearing like a green visor?
Yeah,
like a cha-ching,
cha-ching, yeah. So and I was like, I went up to him and I was like, who? I'm like, who asked for change in a Craigslist deal? I'm like, okay, whatever. So I ended up meeting the guy because I'm like, it's still. I only want 2 plugs. I don't want to buy 4, whatever. And it's still like, it's $9. What's the big deal? So I ended up like pulling the exact change for him. And I met him up and you ever like meet somebody again on Craigslist?
No, but I've met someone in real life. Like, I've met him on Craigslist and I ran into him in real life.
Okay. Yeah. So this was the guy. I'm like, I had bought like a Strymon pedal from him, like a long, like, man, while we were recording, just
did
another,
it's like $3.99 or something.
No, it was like same thing, kind of like exact. Like he was like, "Oh, no haggling. This is exactly what I want for the Strymon Lex, one of the the Leslie
style."
Yeah, it was a cool pedal. So anyways, so I met him up back then, and then I saw him again because I'm like, "Oh man, this is super familiar." It's kind of like I've been here before, but I went there at night before, and during the day, I'm like, it's kind of deja vu. And I went up to him, and I'm like, "Oh no, I remember this guy." He was I'm like, I'm just like an old rocker dude kind of thing. He's like, like still like rocking in the free world kind of guy. And I'm like, okay, can I have those plugs? And he's like talking to me. I'm like, okay, cool, man, cool. And then like I gave him like the bunch of change. He's like, oh, thanks, man. And he dropped it, and he's like, oh, and it kicked it under like some of it like fell, and it got kicked like under like a really hard place to get. And he's like, oh no, it's no big deal. I'm like, why did you want the change then? Because I was like talking to him and he dropped it. I'm like, damn it! I'm like, you wanted these change, so like I thought that was like amusing enough to be like, what the fuck did you ask for change for? And then you dropped the change,
and then it meant nothing.
Yeah, and I'm like, you just pull it like extra change that you have. $8.90 exactly. I'll see you at 11:30.
34.
Yeah.
Did you build that cable already?
Yeah, it's totally fine. It works, and it made my board tighter. I was able to get like
so tight.
Yeah, so tight. 7 mini micro pedals onto a pedal train Nano plus.
Nice.
Oh, plus my Altoids Mini.
Yeah, of course.
On there, it's a great pedal board. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on a staycation this week, so just off of work for about like like a week and a half.
You seem like you're unemployed the way that you do things.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I've been playing a ton of guitar. Like I was like thinking of like, man, my fingers hurt from playing
nylons too.
No, like I was like, I'm actually like my calluses. Like I've been playing guitar for a long fucking time, And like you think I'm like, oh, my fingers never hurt. And I'm like, I've been playing bass, I've been playing guitar, and I'm like just like noodling or practicing along to tracks or trying to write and riff and stuff like that. I'm like, man,
you're good.
Like I was playing.
I'm so good.
I was playing this today, and I'm like this morning because I was like, oh yeah, if I have extra time, I'm gonna play guitar because why not? I have pedals and shit I want to play. And I'm like, fingers hurt. But I did add to my live board a little piece of it's kind of a new gear day for me. I got a from Bestronix, a BTPA. I got one of these the locking like 1/4-inch plugs for my patch bay on my live board. So it's like I can plug my guitar into that. Because before I was like, oh no, I'll save money and I'll save time. Because I thought it was a good idea to plug directly into my passive volume pedal and then running everything in front, then going to my Fractal and yada yada 4-cable method. But I kept noticing that like sometimes like I would play and my cable would get tangled up under my volume pedal, so I couldn't mute all the way. And I was like, shit. Or it would get stuck under and I couldn't pull like full volume all the way. So I'm like, you're playing and singing, you can't like bend down. Oh, sorry guys, hold on. Yeah. Let me not sing the verse so I can fix my fucking.
You've done it. That's cool.
So, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you know what? Let me just try adding this little piece here. It's great. It's so far so good. We haven't played at a show. We got one coming up next month. But I'm like, it keeps like your cables all organized. Keeps it out of like firing range. I'm like, oh, it has your patch bay, which is completely at the top of your pedal board. Anyway, so I just rewired my board a little bit. So far, it's looking tight, looking clean, so fresh and so clean. I love that type of shit.
What I don't like about Boss pedals is that you can have that same problem with the cable stuck right under the.
You can't.
Yeah, with that tread.
Oh, you could do your patch cables too. You'd be under there.
Yeah, like, so
now you can't click them on or off.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit. I noticed that with I think I had some pedals really close together.
You're trying to
when I was doing my Boss board.
Yeah,
and I think it was getting stuck under like the chorus or the reverb pedal. I'm like, no, it was the one. It was like distortion, something you want like to kick on and off.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck. I'm like stomping on this cable. This really nice cable, like in a scissors, like
you're stomping your whole weight on it,
like my sinusoid cable. I'm like, damn it,
sorry guys.
You step on it, you're like, why didn't that go? And then you're like, and you're like, oh yeah, now it's completely, now it's broken.
I cut that signal real quick.
Cut your signal.
Yeah, so no, it was something little small to add to the board, and I'm like, oh man, it kind of like to me, I'm like. It makes it a little more pro.
Yeah. No, I saw it. It's pretty legit
I like it. So
before it was like amateur shit.
It was amateur hour, and now I'm like, oh yeah.
Now that one little component, you were like, you're gonna be touring with the big guys now.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh shit, we just saw that new board of yours.
You open up for us? My band? No, just you.
Just you.
Does he have a Fractal? No. Does your drummer have a Fractal?
What we're gonna do is we're gonna get like a camera and then have a projector showing you a live a rig rundown every night, every show.
That's all.
And people were like, whoa,
no way,
that's so efficient. Anyway, so I was pretty proud of it, and so
tell us about the drip you just put on there.
Yeah, well, no, I did. I was I was even spending more time on my Fractal, like adding, so I'm like, oh, you know what, I've been kind of getting it to where it's just like gig ready, and like I have my patches and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is kind of like a go-to. I pick a spring reverb and kind of like drop it into different patches and stuff like that. Oh, this is fine. This is cool. This is fine. Whatever. And then like I found like a way to set the spring reverb to where Fractal made it to where spring reverbs actually drip. Everybody's like after that spring drip, kind of like the whatever like shit from like Fenders or whatever.
The people spoke and Fractal listened.
No, Fractal listened like 2 years ago. So before like the craze, which everybody's like, how's that reverb drip now? Don't go. No, this one was like done way before. And so, oh shit. So I was able to like punch in the coordinates. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was able to punch it in. So I'm like, oh shit. So like, we have some songs where like on the recording, I used like a spring reverb that did have like a little bit of a drip, kind of like surfy style. Like surf punk garagey style, and I'm like, oh shit, I can punch those into like different patches. And I was like, you know what, I've been like doing the same 1 to 2 reverbs and 2 delays for every track. I'm like, you know what, I have a Fractal, like I should be trying different things and different sounds. So even like some of them, like we have that we do covers from like an 80s. We did the 80s night or whatever a couple months ago, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we still play some of those songs. I'm like, oh, I have a patch that is all just 80s tracks. So I can punch in like shit ton of
Waste.
chorus, shit ton of like studio, like, you know, digital reverb, digital delays, like old school, like, you know.
We got to get our flock of seagulls on now.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is it's cool patches and stuff like that. So I was spending like hours, like literally like hours with my computer and typing stuff in and like, you know, changing all the patches and like changing like really cool like reverbs where I have like, you know, atmospheric, like caverny type, like delay reverbs and stuff like that. I'm like, man, this is sick. I can't wait to play the show, and nobody cared. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
So,
when are you gonna give me a shot at that?
I don't know. At least I'm gonna have to save all the patches before I give it to you, because it could be like, all right, Kyle, here you go. But I lost everything.
No, I don't think you can give it to me. I think I have to just play it at the.
Just have to try it.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. So I'm pretty sold on this thing. So it's cool.
I barely know how to set up a chain correctly yet. So
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. And it's like, you know, you buy something and then you dive into it more. You're like, that was a good purchase. It's more
great.
More patting myself on the back. Good job, Brian. That was a good buy. So that was it. I guess we both
had
kind
a
of
joint,
kind of what's new. Want you to bring it up?
Yeah, so we got to hang out with Coach Neider, a friend of the podcast.
Flippin' Flippers fame.
Yeah, Flippin' Flippers fame. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He let us dive into the Benford 6100.
Yeah,
that was cool. He brought that
exclusive pedal.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. It had some really cool
shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a ring mod kind of thing, but then it had all these other settings.
Yeah, it was like
on
fuzz on delay, or something like that. It was like stuff
crazy.
that I was like, I don't even know what this is doing,
but it sounds sick.
Yeah,
so that was cool. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a chance to like mess with all the settings, because it's got 4 knobs and it's got different. Has like a little toggle between different settings. Right?
Yeah. So I'm like, it's kind of a thing. I'm like, if you don't have the instructions, you're kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or the manual, you're like, I don't know what this is doing.
Yeah, and that's a pedal by Pelican Noiseworks.
Oh yeah, if you guys
we
don't
didn't
know,
mention it, but it's pretty cool. It's brand new, and I think they're sold out. So
yeah, they released it
hopefully
on
they do another run.
on 4th of July. I think it was like a limited run or whatever, or a short run, whatever, and it was like sold out within like 12 hours or something like that, or even less.
Probably less.
I think, yeah. But
a lot of people that we know got them and we didn't. So
yeah,
bummer.
so we luckily Co was able to.
Yeah, we'll just take it from Co whenever we want to borrow it.
Hey, dude, can you let us try it out?
He also brought an EBO.
Yeah,
which is the SG bass.
Yeah, it was
like a 70s.
I think it was like 60.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's a short scale.
Yeah.
Bass
Gibson
with the mudbucker.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an SG. If you guys don't,
it's like maybe 2 inches longer than an SG.
Yeah, no, it's a 30-inch scale. I think it's small. It's like weird. Like to me, I'm like, I've never played a bass that small before.
On me, it looks like a regular SG.
And then you're playing it, and you would really expect that thing to be, because it's small, it's going to be
higher pitch.
Yeah, it's
not higher pitch, but more trebly or something. Or
yeah, that's what you would think. I'm like, oh, this thing's small, so it's not going to be that boom. It was boomy and bassy, like
holy shit,
as fuck. Like we were playing it through like a 810 and rolling like the
bass all the way down.
Yeah, and it was still like
treble all the way up.
It was still like, and you're like, holy shit, this is like.
Yeah,
it would not fit
our style of music. It's more of like a country kind of.
Yeah, kind of like maybe
a one note boom.
Yeah,
boom,
maybe like a rock,
boom, but not like a bass line or like a driving bass line.
It's not a punk thing.
Unless you're gonna want to make everyone brown note.
Yeah, it's not for a punk band at all.
Everyone shit their pants.
Like the definition, I think is kind of like weird because it's not really there, but it's also like. We're not approaching it like the way that we should.
No,
I was playing it. I'm like, oh, let's try and add this and get some drive to it. I'm like, and we add drive, and it's like it would shake the whole room. It's like, oh my god,
we're gonna die.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So he brought that, and we're just kind of like just fucking around with different pedals. He did bring.
He brought some other things too.
Yeah, what else? What did he bring? Was it the?
Was it the Electro Faustus? Was it the?
Yeah, it was like the
Damerling?
Yeah, I remember it was just like a weird, like it was like a noise, like kind of like, oh, this is gonna fuck you up kind of pedal.
Yeah,
I remember
it's
that.
Something different and something new.
And adding that to your Boss Slicer that you brought, and like adding these all together, it was like basically you could just set your guitar down because he brought his Titan.
Yeah,
and it sounded pretty cool.
That's a really cool Titan, by the way.
Yeah, he added the a new P90 in there. So like playing P90s, I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah,
like that's what I feel like. I'm like I should get into P90s, but anyway, so he brought that. He was like at points where we were like, oh man, adding all these pedals together, we were basically just like strum or hit the guitar. Sometimes he would just like hit the guitar, set it down. And just like all these pedals would just make the noise for you, and you just sit there like a nerd. You're like, oh yeah, and we're all like, yeah,
yeah. Was it the Half Horse was really cool on bass.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. And then he had what was the DOD the Gunslinger too on bass.
Gunslinger, yeah.
So it was a cool time. Basically, like a lot of cool shit, trying different gear and stuff like that. So
I have one of those, and I have a Gunslinger, and you have a Half Horse. Why haven't we tried on bass?
I don't know. We just haven't ever.
We just need a to open our eyes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about a lot of what's new, right? Let's
I guess
rein it in. Let's do a couple topics. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the first topic I had, it's kind of a loose one, so let's just kind of go off of it. It's maybe some tips for starting a band or maybe getting your first show.
Yeah.
So let's say you and I, like Playing Without a Pilot, quit, like we were done, fizzled out, and you were starting a new band. Like how would you go about it? Like how would you, everything that you've learned and knew now, that you now know, how would you start a band? Great topic.
I know. Hold on, I'm trying to. I'm trying not to sound like an asshole. Okay, which is really hard.
Well, I'll go first. How about that?
Yeah, you could go.
I would say I would probably go to shows. Like for me, I would go to shows like for the type of genre that I would want to play in.
Yeah.
Like you start being more enamored in the scene, supporting others. You kind of get a feel of what the music vibe is like in your town or your,
yeah.
Because even in San Diego, there's so many different types of bands.
And talk to the musicians, see what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, something if you want to even do it.
Not even like networking is like a bad. It sounds bad, but you kind of are doing that. You kind of are like, because
you can come at it from a fan point of view.
Really, I mean, being face to face and meeting people, because they'll never know who you are if you just post ads on Craigslist or try and talk online. I'm like, I don't have a band. Somebody play with me. I'm like, nobody's gonna see that. Really, especially on Facebook. If you saw that type of ad, like somebody posting that on their wall, you would just scroll past that, right?
Yeah,
but you hang out with people at shows and you see because there could be a thing of like if you don't want to be the type of person who is like, I don't want to go to shows. I don't want to go to shows and support other people on weeknights. I'm like, you're probably not going to be the type of band that plays local gigs, right?
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. Actually, there's
if you can't be that person now, like what's to say that you're going to be that person when you have to bring your own gear, and play music, your own music in front of people. Like you're not going to want to do it then.
There's a local guy in town. He maybe like a year and a half ago moved from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And just he wanted to start a band, just started showing up to gigs. He would come and see us. He would go to see like the Rough or he'd go and see just bands.
Yeah.
And I know who he is. Yeah. And I've never played with him.
But you're like he's making
but I know who he is. And
like his face and
he has his own band.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, one day we'll probably play together.
Yeah. But, it's like he's so that's kind of like maybe like of how to get shows too. So maybe you're jumping the gun a little bit of like how to book shows. It's like really that goes hand in hand too. Because
that's what the networking was.
Yeah, you're meeting people, right? So that's kind of like how you start playing shows because you're not just going to want to play shows of like, oh yeah, just hit up the venue first, which that's a good idea to do that. But
you're also getting a feel of like, is this venue a place I want to play at? When you show up?
Yeah, I always
like, the sound here is okay, or I like the vibe, or they have these kind of bands here. This is more of my scene. I'll look in.
Exactly. And I think that, exactly. Because like you'll go to the show and I'm like, okay, my band can play here and like got to make sure these circumstances are this way. Like, okay, we share a backline coming to this. Because sometimes you don't know. You go like, sometimes we'll play a show even in, San Diego. It's like, we have never been to this venue before, shame on us, whatever. We haven't gone to that show. It's like, there's so many fucking shows and stuff like that. You can't always make all of them. But going to those, I'm like, that's helpful for your own band. And it's like, do you guys even fit this type of show? It's like even like, trying to book a venue at trying to book a show at a venue that's huge. And for your first one, I'm like, you don't want to do that.
No.
And even if your band can't fill this place, I'm like, guess what? They're not going to ever call you again. Because like, we have 100, or we have like 250 capacity venue and you
brought 6 people.
Yeah. Then they're going to be like, hell no, we don't want you to come back. But if there's like, it's 45, 70 capacity and there's like, 30, 40 people, they're like, oh shit, man.
Also sometimes like a band's first show, like sometimes a lot of people show up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've hyped it up to your friends. Oh, this is my new thing I'm doing. Blah, blah. You have all your coworkers. Let's say you have 4 members in your band.
Yeah.
Everyone brings 6 people, 8 people. That's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, just for one band.
And I think sometimes bands fizzle out because they're like, oh, we have all these fans here. No, these are your friends.
Mm.
That's different than someone who's like there for just the music. These are people here for you.
Yeah.
And they don't give a damn about your music. And so I think that's another thing is like, sometimes bands don't make it past that phase. That first couple months of like, oh, well, I only have 5 people in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are people that you've picked up on the way.
Yeah. And so like maybe no, that's a good point. I don't want to scoot past it, but let's, because I think we went past like the very basics. But yeah, no, that is a good point. So like some bands, like they never make it past that because they're like, oh shit, I'm not a rock star.
Yeah.
Dude, I played 5 shows at the same venue. I'm like, why am I not huge yet?
Well, my thing was keep low expectations, basically.
Or,
not set goals, but like don't,
set realistic,
try not to burn yourself out.
Set realistic expectations, I guess. And like, okay, you might not have all this exponential growth constantly.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
No, but I guess like to bring it back, like, how would you even start a band? So like I was saying like meeting people at shows, but I'm like, okay, would you put Craigslist ads out? To me, that would be like
I guess it depends on your situation. I mean, here in San Diego, we have a pretty large population. You may not have that in
you're right.
certain towns. Mm-hmm. So maybe Craigslist is the only way, or
online.
Maybe you post something at the school or whatever, like whatever college or whatever.
Depending on what your situation is.
The rec center, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. That's good. And I'm like, I think if we're in a little different situation because we're active musicians. Mm-hmm. So if we wanted to, not sound like a dickhead. But like if we wanted to start other bands, we know so many people and we're so connected already. Like, it wouldn't take much time for me to be like, I'm going to pick up and be a bass player for a band or be a guitar player for another band. Cause I'm like, somebody, like I might not have the skills, but I have the networking already laid down.
And like you said, networking.
I think that's,
the band that you're seeing there, they may know someone who doesn't play at the moment. They may be looking. So
they'd be like, we need a guitar player.
There's always discards off of a band.
Yeah,
not that you want,
like there's a lot of revolving doors in bands of like musicians.
But bands know each other, and there's always people in between that aren't in a band, but they still play music.
Yeah, and depending on your situations, like okay, like if you're looking to start a band, there's always bands. Like so, if you're connected with you people and you have your homies who are in playing bands, they're usually. Because if you're into this type of thing, you're going to the shows and you're supporting music, really. Like a lot of people like who play in bands, they like to go see bands. And so like, okay, you're maybe one of the people who wants to be in a band. So you go see a band and you're connecting with friends, meeting new people, because meeting people and, making more friends is not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So you're connected with people and be like, oh yeah, hey, Kyle, you play too, right? I'm like, are you looking to play, bass in a band or guitar or
like nobody knows someone,
and then stuff like that. It's like, in your friends circle. I think that's kind of maybe that's like a terrible advice, but to me I'm like, just really the face to face is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
because people like they could put it like, I know what I've met Kyle and I know what he looks like and I know that he's a bass player, whereas opposed to be like, this dude from this Craigslist ad. I'm like, okay, you're gonna scroll past that.
Yeah, and I know Brian doesn't like jamming, but you can just jam with people and see if you even mesh.
Yeah,
that's another thing. We were talking about gear. Do you want?
I think for me, there's like a fine I don't know. It's kind of a gray area with gear. So you don't want absolute bullshit, but you shouldn't also make that like that's like. There's a requirement. It's like sometimes people put like pro gear required. I'm like. Dude, you don't even have a band like in your Craigslist ad. You're asking for pro gear, or sometimes people put too much emphasis on that. Be like, I have like a diesel amp and I have this like custom made guitar. I'm like, and then they fucking suck.
Yeah.
So like
anyone can buy that stuff.
yeah. And
If
so
they have
like,
a credit card, they
yeah.
could buy it. They may be the shittiest musician.
and like, we have like, or like we know people who have like garages like in rooms full of guitars and gear hanging on the wall, but they never play shows because like they're an asshole. Like you cannot be in a band because you're a fucking prick.
Yeah.
And then so that becomes the personality. I'm like, be cool. You got to be like a little loosey goosey, especially when you're trying to start a band. I'm like, you have no room to stand here. So you have like these prerequisites. I'm like, this person needs to be like this. We have to do this. I'm like, yo, dude, you're not even in a band. So like, why are you having these like
slow your roll?
Slow your roll a little bit. So we know these type of people who are like, I got all this gear. I have, I should be playing this type of like professional show. I'm like, anybody can go to Guitar Center, dude.
Yeah.
Anybody, because like no company is going to be like, hey, you know what? Your money's still green. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like it does. There's no like. There's
I'm
no
sorry,
barrier to entry. Except
you don't know your pentatonics. You can't get this.
Yeah. You don't even know the difference between a G and an A chord. So no. Give me the money, please. You don't know what scale this song is? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think that was. I wouldn't say mistake, but definitely because it worked out still. But I got that 810 as like my first like bass amp.
Yeah,
my bass.
That Ampeg 810.
Ampeg 810. It. Like I regret. I feel like back and go, damn. That was a lot of work moving around and like, oh, we're playing a small club. Too bad you got the 810 today. Good,
because you could honestly like it always looks badass. There's never a situation that doesn't look badass.
It's true. The only I guess the only thing that saved us is like you had 2 trucks you could use. I had 1 truck. I could So we always were able to throw it into something.
Yeah, I either like had like when we were eventually like I bought a truck and then I could always like borrow like my dad's truck if like I ever like something went wrong with mine or whatever, I could always borrow his. So I had 2 trucks at my disposal, and then you always had your car, but also your dad's truck.
Yeah.
So we always had something to move.
Yeah, and I can just imagine like, dang, if I only had like a Toyota Tercel or something, we screwed.
Yeah. To move an 810 around.
Yeah. Although it does fit in a Ford Focus 2003.
Yeah, so you could. I mean, I don't know. With something bigger, you could always turn it down, or like
it's true.
Bigger, and that goes into like. You want to play coffee shop with a half stack? I'm like,
I'm gonna try.
You probably shouldn't, but it'd be better because, like, what if you actually needed like a half stack somewhere? I don't know, but then that's a fine line. So I'm like, okay, what is pro, and how is far as too pro with gear?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to be able to be like, oh yeah, I'm like the coolest, best band member, but I can't play a show because I have, a GC5 HDFX Marshall or whatever the hell they're called. It's like, oh, I have a Black Star Fly. Like, you can't play a show, dude.
Can you mic this, please?
And so your band's gonna be like, oh fuck, dude, Kyle can't play a show. Like he's like the best band member in the world, but we can't play a fucking show at a club. And so
he spends all his money on chili dogs.
Yeah. And then kind of brings it to like, so I always think of like gear kind of comes second, and you had to have a good hang.
Personality. Man.
Good personality. You have to be able to mesh with your band members. You have to have like the chops somewhat. You don't have to be like, Steve Vai up there, like be able to play to the band, but
you
also
have to realize that like it's not all fun. It's fun playing on stage. It's fun practicing, hanging with your friends and your bandmates. But there's a lot of grind to it. There's a lot of grind.
I guess it brings it to another topic or another part of this. A question. It's like, so when would you be ready to play out? When is going to be your first show? Like, when do you think you're ready? Not like you, but if like you were starting a band,
when your music's ready.
When is it?
When you guys are all, I don't know, when everything's polished. I would maybe not like, oh, you guys sound like Freddie Mercury up there. These are great.
I think for me, vocalist. My thing is, if you have enough songs and enough time, just do it.
Yeah, I guess
like you're
right.
never going to be ready because like we have been a band for years and we're still trying to fine tune and get things better. Yeah. Like you're never going to be ready. If you get in your own way and think of like, oh, my band, we're not ready to play shows until we have like our full length album and doing this and because we want to come out with a bang. I'm like, dude, nobody's going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Just get out there and play shows because you're never going to get
there,
better.
Make mistakes, sound like shit, and never play like that again.
Yeah, and then exactly.
Learn from it.
Yeah, try not to do that same thing again. And so that's where I think I'm like, okay, your band will never be ready to play a show.
Yeah.
Just you need to have enough material to do so and the ability as far as gear to do so. don't rely on the other bands. Like, do not fucking go to a show saying I don't have a bass amp because I can't afford it. Yeah. Like
punch you in the face.
Have the right, and then just do it because you're gonna learn along the way, and that's the whole part of you're in a new band. Like just have a 40-minute set.
Yeah.
35, 40-minute set. Learn a cover or two if you have to. If you really have, don't play covers.
There's a reason why they call it do it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. DIY, do it yourself.
And just I say, you can only be ready when you have that. You have the equipment to do so, not the best. You don't need the best of the best, but just enough to be able to play out and the material to do so. Honestly, it's best if you just suck a bunch of ass on stage and play it because you're never going to get better.
And be ready for someone to be like, yeah, the music was really good, but I couldn't hear your vocals.
Or be like, oh, people are like, oh yeah, that's, that's all they say.
Wow, yeah, you guys are really loud.
But I don't know. I think I had nothing else to add to that. I guess really, maybe that was just
and just don't be a cock.
Just yeah.
That's why we should have started it.
Yeah, but all right. I got a topic for you, Kyle. This is just us riffing back and forth. So, shitty gigging scenarios. Maybe shitty gigs. Yeah. Maybe it just was not meant to be from the get-go.
Those ones you just have to trudge through it, knee high.
These are just some shitty stories for you guys. Not to say being in a band is not fun. It is, but sometimes you play those crap shows.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to get through it. So let's share a couple stories.
Dig for those diamonds.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any?
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth, and so you bring up the first one.
So we've played some shows where they double book a venue.
Yeah.
And no one. It's not even the last band, they had a rough day. It's just everyone has a shit time. They start, let's say, okay, 2 shows. Normally your shows would start at 8, 7 at a bar, 7:30. Oh, now we have to start you at 5:30 or 6. Nobody's there drinking.
Yeah.
So the band who already was starting early before people were having a good time, these guys haven't even got off work yet.
Yeah.
So
people aren't even.
Okay, well that sucks.
Yeah.
And then the last band goes on at maybe 12 or 12:30. Nobody's having fun. The only person that's having fun is the venue who double booked.
No,
they're just laughing it up all the way to the bank. No,
they're a bunch of chuckleheads back and forth. They're just saying
no,
we fucked over instead of 3 bands, we fucked over 6 bands.
Yeah, it's poor planning because I've been where the guys the other band show up and they're like, oh shit, I can see on their face I double booked this. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, or you get there and you're like, shit, we got to try to make things work, and you don't know. We've done that too, where we were in Olympia, and I think we talked about it before, but bringing it up again. So we booked a show, and it's okay, cool, and the promoter was like, no, yeah, you guys are on. And then I'm like, okay, cool, when are we going on? And it's like, or should we start loading? It's like, no, you guys are on the second show. I'm like, second show? What the fuck? So there's
that's messed up.
show where there's it's a small venue, so maybe 60 capacity, and there's 40 kids in there. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's totally fucking worth it. I'm like, I just want to play in front of people. And they're like, oh yeah, the show starts fizzling out, and I'm like, oh yeah, and they running longer too because it's not fucking well planned, as you can tell. And then it's like, oh yeah, the locals that I had booked for your guys' show, they didn't show up, so 2 touring bands. All right, you guys are closing out the show. I don't feel good, so I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go home.
And here's
this is your job, dude.
And here's the PA. Figure it out. So it's you guys can run your own door. Anyways, shit like that. I hate.
Yeah, that was with a band from Texas
and us.
We're both of us were 1,000 miles away from home. At least, actually, the Texas band was farther.
Yeah, and we were just it was hot summer, muggy bullshit, crappy. Fuck Olympia. If you live there, sorry.
But that's
fuck that show. Not your town. You guys, whatever.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, that was sorry. That show for us was shitty. So we were just left with a bad taste in our mouth. Fuck this place. We'll probably come back, but whatever. I was thinking for us, maybe just a little less poor. It just wasn't good planning on our part. We were younger, so we were a little bit more about optimistic about we'll take any show, this is gonna be great for us. So we played one time, it was a block party down south, in Chula Vista from San Diego. This block party, it was tons of bands, it was punk bands, hardcore bands, everybody. It was probably 12 different bands, and we got booked on this show. It's basically you play in the street.
Yeah, that was cool.
Everybody's just dancing in the street. And so I'm like, oh, this is cool.
walking in the street.
Yeah. And so it was, cool, kind of like, DIY kind of deal. We're just like, okay, just take like a JBL, like PA kind of thing and whatever, two of those deals, and then your amps and like, mics on the drums.
Run an extension cord from someone's house.
Yeah, and it was
great.
Totally cool. And we ended up playing our set, and we're like, okay, cool. Well, we're kind of blocked in here with all these people and kids and like whatever, and all these other bands playing. So luckily for us, we got to play our set before anybody else and before certain people showed up, like the cops.
Yeah.
They fucking show up, shut the whole thing down, and we're like, oh, we're stuck with our gear here or whatever.
Yeah, like the whole street cut off.
Yeah. And so like it was like not a cool situation. It became like an unfun situation pretty quick because like them shutting it down, and then it's like, oh, fuck, now we're like trying to get out of here with our gear without getting like, it confiscated or whatever. I always heard that like if you played a house show,
if you keep playing, we're gonna confiscate your stuff.
Like I don't know if that's
they probably could
true or not, but
I
I'm
know
like
a 410 will fit in a Crown Vic.
Yeah, so they might just. But yeah, so that was that. I'm like, and then like so like, there's cops like everywhere at this place, and you're like, oh shit, this is not a fun show. And for you, had a run in.
Yeah, I was just walking.
We were like 16,
I was
17?
Like, I think I was 17. I'm like, oh, point A, point B. I'm going to walk there. I didn't notice there was a cop talking to someone in the middle of the street right to my left. I walked within maybe 5 feet of the guy, and he flipped out. He stepped back, put his hand on his gun, yelled at me.
Yeah.
Said, don't walk behind a police officer. Put his hand up like he was like putting it,
like
his vocal command. Yeah, like the force, like he was gonna grab me by my throat. I was shocked. I was like, yeah, I'm just okay. I'm just walking.
You're like some kid, like babyface kid.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit.
I'm sorry, officer.
With like a SpongeBob t-shirt. You're like, I don't know, dude. Sideways cap.
Sorry, Mr. Krabs.
That's stupid. I'm sorry, sir.
So yeah, that pissed me off. Like, man, I can't even walk down the fucking street.
Yeah,
dude, and get a almost. I can't say a gun was drawn on me, but I was pretty close.
But you're like a kid. You're like, oh wow, man, this like was a shitty show. Thank God I played this.
God, I came tonight.
You say to the cop, I provided the entertainment tonight. Don't you understand?
I'm invincible.
I'm the talent here.
That was my voice. I was a little New Yorker child.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, officer. Don't you know who I am? I only have a podcast in 12 years that nobody's going to listen to. Respect me. Yeah, that was, we had another one where we played,
where was it?
It was like a backyard party.
It's like Fallbrook or
somewhere in like it was like a thing of like back with MySpace days. We're like, oh, we got offered a show, like a couple other bands. All of our friends' bands did not show up. To this thing because they were like, oh, they kind of knew what the hell it was. But like, oh, we have like 3 of our friends are playing this thing. We thought it was like a show. It ended up being like a legit like a birthday party for somebody who was like, like their sweet 16 or whatever.
I was looking for a pinata the whole time. I was
like
stoked.
What the fuck? Like we show up. I'm like, all right, let's just play it. We're here, whatever. Because we like got like, oh yeah, no, it's like this like our friends were like building it up like, no, it's gonna be a legit show. Only one other band showed up, and they were like some like
they're from like L.A. or something.
Yeah, so like we ended up like us like from San Diego, them from L.A. I'm like we probably like, oh, you know what? Let's just make the most of it.
Yeah, I think that it was a makeshift stage.
Yeah,
it was on a slope, so the stage came out. It was like it almost looks like a lean-to they built.
Yeah,
with a platform
being like down a dirt road into somebody's backyard that we parked. And I'm like, oh fuck, what the hell is this?
In the middle of like I think it was like an orange grove or something. Yeah, it would have been cool if there was a shit ton of people.
Yeah, there ended up being like less than 10 people there, and like plus like the kid's family. Like she had like her family there, and they were super supportive.
Yeah,
and it was like we're like, okay, we should have done more research for this.
Yeah.
But we got there, as pro as we are, we played. And you know who decided to come to the show? The local constabulary.
The local fuzz.
The fuzz showed up. And then we're like, oh, shit. They were like, the came, oh, we got some noise complaints. And then it was like, okay. And then our drummer was the only one who was like, he was like, we were still underage. And our drummer was like, 19 or whatever. And he's like, oh, dude, was in the Navy at the time, or that drummer was in the Navy. He's like, oh no, you know what? He had all the confidence in the world. I'm from the Navy. I'm in the Navy, dude. I'll talk to him. And so he's like, I'm like, yeah, go for it.
You guys are cut from the same cloth.
I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, you talk to him and get, because we were still under the notion that our equipment could be taken. I'm like, no, dude, I don't want my amplifier taken away. I'll cut it off right now. So he talked to them, and the cop was like, all right, well, just finish your set, whatever. And so the cop was like, he pulled up and he had like backup, and they just like watched us. Yeah, and hung out.
That was pretty cool, actually.
So it ended up being kind of like, this is kind of like they're gonna shut it down, but then like they just ended up hanging out. We're like,
but then we were done with our set. We were the only band that got to play, though.
No, I thought the other band played first. I remember. I remember.
Then there was 3 bands.
Okay, I remember one shitty ass band.
The LA band, they rolled up in their van. There was like 8 dudes that got out of the van.
They probably were on tour or something.
They couldn't play. No, I think they just drove down for the day.
Oh, that sucked.
And they were really pissed because the neighbor who originally said it was cool.
Okay, you're remembering a lot more of this, which is nice.
Which is weird.
Bringing it all back.
The neighbor who said it was cool, I think, didn't realize how loud like
bands are.
Actual live music is.
Yeah,
and was pissed.
Yeah, just like because I remember it echoing, and it was like
his house was up on like a
mountains and stuff like that. It was like or hills, I guess. Whatever.
His house was just like maybe 2 football fields away, but it was up on a hill, so there wasn't any trees. Yeah. There was nothing to block it, so it was just probably hitting his windows.
It was probably like bah, bah, bah.
Yeah,
and a bunch of line 6
pork pie,
line 6 spiders,
valve
from the
non-valve amp.
Yeah, and then us. I'm like, because we were at the point where we were like, oh, our first amplifiers were like, 100 watt, dual rectifier, 4x12, and like 400 watt. 500 watt like Ampeg 810.
I was concerned to put my 810 on that stage because it was like
it was
plywood and there was a gap, and every time I like took a step, it would lean forward. I'm like,
yeah,
shit.
But that was like a good. I think for us, like the show must go on, and it did for us, not for the other band. But I remember the cop was like, okay, just finish your set. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and I think that was the last house show we ever played.
We never got invited back.
Yeah, they never brought it.
Well, then, yeah, so like we also did one in our younger days. Like one of our first shows was like a quote unquote Battle of the Bands. Never play Battle of the Bands. They're the fucking shittiest, worst like situations because it's every like piece of like it's like because they advertise to anybody who's gonna go. And we were like 15, 16 years old. Yeah. We're like, we want to play Battle of the Bands because we could win.
Yeah,
and so
we're so good.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's like we show up at this like bar and grill.
San Marcos.
Yeah. So it's a little north of us. And so we show up there. I'm like, oh my God. This stage was so tiny. And there was like listed of like 15 to 16, like 16 to like 20 bands maybe.
Yeah. And they had like spent all the time. Like I remember seeing the tickets for it. They were like legit. Like
looking, they look like Ticketmaster tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, oh
shit. You guys didn't bother to advertise it, but you made all these tickets.
And then like the bands, I'm like, oh shit. And then we were pushed, scheduled to play at a certain time, and we got pushed back. And then like because of like the show got pushed back because they didn't set up the stage.
You're
in
like
time.
Stressing me out just like thinking about the show again.
And then the bass player was like, oh no, I can't go. I have to like. I think he went to like a soccer tournament or something like that. It was like his
probably volleyball or something.
Like his girlfriend was playing. I remember that. He's like, he wasn't even playing. And that's what pissed me off. It's like, yo, you're leaving a show that we're playing. Because we were in high school at the time. Because we were young. We were like
my
15.
Girlfriend. I'll be with her forever.
Yeah.
It's my high school, very temporary girlfriend.
Yeah. And so like he left, and it's like, oh shit. Well, it's like, I mean, I'll play bass. And it was like we were trying to make it work, and then the drummer didn't want to do it, and Kyle and I were like the only ones that were like,
oh my God,
we're already here. We gotta fucking play.
Yeah.
And then that was like what
this is when we didn't even drive.
Yeah, we had to like establish like, or no, yeah, exactly. Like my dad,
our parents, yeah,
and the drummer's parents. It's like we took the time to do that, and they're like, no, we're just gonna go. And so I'm like, we ended up like having the mindset of like. Kyle and I, we developed that then. It's like the show must fucking go on.
The show, even if it sucks.
Yeah, so it was like one of our first shows that we did. Play the fucking show. And we ended up having to go home, and that was the last show that we played with those 2 band members. We just fucking, like, even at that age, we were like, you guys are fucking done. We're cutting, like, we don't want to do this anymore with you guys.
Yeah.
Because we're like, the time you guys wasted.
Have it in you.
No, just the time that you wasted. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You guys, like, are not a good bass player. You're not a good drummer. And it was like, Oh yeah, this is at a time that we had started the band. We were a 4-piece. Kyle was guitar, I was guitar, and so we were like, you know what? Fuck that bass player. Kyle ended up playing bass, and I'm like, let's just get a different drummer. And then like we just kicked him out. So, you know, it pissed us off enough. That show was so bad that we kicked out 2 band members and changed instruments. You're like, fuck them, so bad.
We walked a little taller that day.
Yeah, take that shit weight off the shoulders.
Wendy Peppercorn wasn't even there.
Yeah. I guess we got another one to mention. So we played another shit show in Reno. We were on tour.
Ooh.
It was like, okay, it's cool bar, cool, like, you know, smoky bar, divey punk bar in Reno. There's kind of, you know, some people there or whatever.
Yeah. It was like away from the city. It was like a bar. I don't know, it was so strange. It was like
bar venue kind of thing.
It used to be a venue that used to run actual shows, and then the bar had a small stage, and they were connected by like a double door, but that wasn't open. But the entrance to the bar was on like an alley, so like you really had to be a local and know it was there. Yeah, which was cool because people were actually there.
Yeah, they started showing up, and so like we was like, okay, cool. Ended up being like a 3-band bill. It ended up being like fucking. Of course, the promoter was like, oh, let's get 2 touring acts and 1 local act. I'm like, okay, put the local act in the middle. I'm like, okay, well, at least that's kind of smart, whatever. So that kind of want maybe the local one to close. But either way, whatever. So we were like closing, and then like somebody opened up, and it ended up being like totally different fit. Some solo acoustic guy,
like Southwestern kind of like Howl at the Moon kind of
thing. And then we played with like 2 pop punk bands. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, accept everybody. And then so showing up, the guy was a fucking dickhead, did not even talk to us. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, thanks. Him and his girlfriend or like wife or whoever was there with him touring in their car. Yeah, they're doing the damn thing. Okay, cool. You guys are doing it. She's like working merch, and then like, oh, she's also playing with you. Some
songs she'd walk up and sing.
Then she'd walk back off, and then okay, cool. And then it got to a point where like, yo, you going on for? You're still playing. You're still playing, dude. You're still playing. Are you shitting me? Ended up being like 15, 15 minutes over. Oh, now it's a half an hour over. And then like the venue did not give a shit because they're like, this guy is running, like he almost played like an hour and a half of like music that nobody fucking wants to hear. I don't care how good you are. I'm like, there's only so much solo acoustic shit that somebody can hear.
I think this is the day we also just driven from Portland to Reno.
Yeah, it was
it was a long day.
Yeah, so we were like kind of.
I was a little ticked.
We've like had it at this point, and this guy is like would not go, and they got to the point where we're like you could tell the crowd was like, "Fucking Christ, dude!" Yeah. And as they got to a point where like, okay, you know, we're starting to set up. Like,
we started to set up, be loud about it.
we were starting to set up gear behind him, and then he finally got off stage, and he legit left. I'm like, he did not stay for anybody. I'm like, cool, good.
Thanks for wasting everyone's time.
Riddance.
No one came to see you,
and he did not.
You didn't do any crowd work.
Yeah. God, I'm like that type of shit. I'm like,
man, if he would have been courteous, and then like talk to people after, because there's only there's a handful of people. There's it wasn't a huge bar. It was actually really small.
Yeah, so we had like
he could have like played his 30 or 45, whatever.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have been good. But 45 would have been like, oh shit, I went over.
Way too pushing. Yeah,
yeah. And then you go and talk to like, hey, how's it going? I saw you liking my music.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and then try and like network and
wow, I killed everyone's mood here, and I'm gonna walk out with my tail between my legs.
Yeah, it was just like got to a point like and we were telling the locals, I'm like, yo, we're just gonna fucking load your shit on stage. And so like behind him playing, I'm like, because I'm like we were that point that I was like I'm gonna be a dickhead.
This is our last show of tour too.
Yeah, I'm like we started loading gear, and that's when he got the point. It's like, oh, drums are being loaded up on stage, and a half stack is on stage. I'm like, oh, I better cut it. Oh, we're done here, and then he leaves. I'm like,
all I had was his acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And like his tambourine.
God, yeah, of course he's got the suitcase thing.
His finger cymbals.
Yeah, but yeah, that was like a bad one. It was just like,
oh man,
it was just like because
it sucks to
have
the
reason why it sucked was because it was so poorly run. Yeah. Nobody ran it. There was no promoters there. Nobody at the bar or nobody on stage gave a shit because they're just like, yeah, just let him go for it.
Yeah,
who cares? Well, yeah, who cares?
He won't care if everyone's driven from far. I don't know, whatever. I guess it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, but I mean, locals, I'm like, dude, like there's a part of playing a show of like feeling the vibe of the crowd. Don't overextend your welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're done. Like 35 minutes it's pretty long for a set for a local unsigned like band that nobody knows. People are gonna be like,
yeah,
yeah,
and
we're
the guy
kinda done.
wasn't even playing like covers. He was playing like all original, hour and a half.
And
It's
even for that, I'm like, I wouldn't want to see. I don't think I could pay to see or want to stick around for over an hour and a half of like Dave Hawes playing solo acoustic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I love Dave Hawes and I love his music so much, but he's like a full band recorded.
Yeah, I don't think.
And then he does like acoustically sometimes tours. I'm like, I don't know if I want to see 2 hours of this, dude.
Yeah.
An hour and a half, hour 15's plenty. That's plenty for me.
Yeah, even my most favorite bands, I get overwhelmed, I think, with the music.
If they do I think music is, like music like done with a full band, it's just a different dynamic with like acoustic, like one guy on stage. I'm like,
Yeah, you're missing something.
there's like something to be desired on this. Anyway, so that's just us bitching about our past shitty gig scenarios. If you guys have any, talk about it in the group. Let's say like some bad shows that you guys have played
Or been to. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another thing.
Oh yeah, I mean you can be in the crowd too and be like
And notice something.
and be like, something's fucky with this. Oh, that's pretty good. So I think we're done with that one. Is there some loose topics to get some chatter going? But I think Kyle, you got one that you want to bring up.
I had a question. We had covered something similar in like a phone call, like a test phone call.
Yeah, we did
a Patreon drop.
Patreon only. Sorry guys. I mean, you can hear it if you'd
If you really want to,
Yeah.
you know what to do.
$2, dude. But yeah, you had a question.
So basically, we had touched on like, for me, like I could have just gone to Wikipedia and asked this question. I could have just typed it in, but I wanted to ask Brian.
Just
'cause
ask-
I wanted to see how wrong he was.
Just ask Jeeves. Yeah.
So I asked him like, what makes a super strat?
Yeah.
And so we talked about that, and then I thought about it today. I'm like, wait, that's like, I see Telecasters with that same like setup. Why don't they call those super tellies?
Yeah, you never hear super tellies.
No, never hear super tellies. You always hear like a Telecaster Deluxe, which is, it's got 2 humbuckers usually.
Yeah.
And it's like, it still has a hardtail. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter, but
Yeah, like a telly, like with like a Floyd Rose.
yeah, you've seen those, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, it's like okay, like the Rob Chapman, his telly or
Yeah.
whatever the hell he's called it, like the RS1 or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
his telly version is like a super telly. But
There
nobody
is no such thing as super
but
telly,
nobody
Brian.
calls them
We're-
super telly. Like Jim Root, his like 2 EMGs,
Yeah,
single volume, and a pickup selector.
that's a
with
perfect setup.
Locking tuners and shit like that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a super telly, but it's not. It's nobody says like, oh yeah, the new Jim Root super telly.
Mm.
We call it just a telly.
Yeah, the Jim Root telly.
Yeah, so it's like a shower thought.
Yeah, so
Like-
that was something I was like, what the like. I see super strat all the time.
Exactly. Like,
Where's my? I want my super telly and I want it now.
I want my Charvel super telly.
Yeah, maybe not Charvel. I don't know.
Like-
Charvel would be cool.
Like yeah, because you got the Charvel, Jackson, Ibanez, like super strats all
Yeah.
damn day, and like even Fender and Squier are coming out with like the EMG loaded or like the Floyd Rose loaded like Fender Stratocasters, but they those are super strats, but nobody like they're not like official like
I mean, what's in a name though?
yeah
What's in a name?
yeah.
No, seriously, that's the next question. What's in a name?
Shut up. I don't know. I guess that was it.
Yeah. But why don't they?
Mm.
Maybe no one thought of it. Maybe they don't want to encroach on the super strat.
They're like, oh man, super strat. That was a dumb thing to call that. So let's not
Yeah,
call.
let's not do that.
Let's not taint.
It's not the coolest name. It's not like
You wouldn't call it like a super P bass. You wouldn't
that's something you got there, Brian.
like, oh shit, I want one. Whatever it is, give it to me. I want like a Floyd Rose on my P bass. Locking nut.
Yeah, dude, you do those fucking dives.
No, they legit make those. I've like
What?
I like
Just get a
why would you make that?
just
Like
get a was it
whammy.
PS3 or was it PS2?
Yeah.
It's the super
shifter.
shifter. Yeah,
Shifter.
super shifter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I legit have seen basses that have like a whammy, like bar or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't know what the hell it is. It's like, I mean, it's not. I don't know if it is Floyd Rose licensed or whatever, or Kaler or whatever the hell, like
What the
bridge.
fuck?
I'm like, why would you want that for bass?
So you can get those super crazy dives, and then you can pull up on it.
Yeah, but would that be worth it at all? That
No,
sounds
not
like
at
it
all.
would be super shitty.
Yeah.
And you would just like ruin, like, oh yeah, like
Break your strings.
you're the fucking foundation of the band, and you're just gonna be like the jerk off that's like, oh yeah, let me come up here, and like, oh,
God.
like bass solos are barely okay anyways, and then you try and do dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
People would be like, what the fuck? People in the crowd would just be like,
I'm drunk. That's sick.
oh man, that's a whammy bar on a bass.
Whammy.
Okay, so that's the next thing. Kyle, a signature model, Super P bass.
Whammy bar.
It's gonna be
Drink holder.
a hot pink, leopard stripes, leopard
Leopard stripes.
Yeah. All right. We got another one. What's this one? It's your
This is your go-to moves at a buffet.
what are you calling this one?
This is the Kyle's tri-tips. Not talking about steak, everybody, okay? Not talking about beef. These are the tips you need to try.
But if you don't try these, I got beef with you.
We gotta squash them with some squash and some beef.
Squash and beef. Okay, so we were just talking about going, like, if you're going to a buffet, what's your like go-to move? How do you like you have a plan? When you
Scout
go-
it out.
Oh, you scout it out.
That's number one. Okay. So they see you at the table, you're like, oh, this is my landing pad. Okay, this is where I'm crashing. Okay. Okay. Get up, walk the floor. Okay.
Take a lap.
There may be wonder out there that you miss. Okay. This is you planning out your evening.
Yeah.
Or whatever. This could be lunch. This could be dinner. Could be breakfast. If you're in Vegas.
Or all three.
Or all three at once. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, plan it out. 2 is going to be, don't venture too far away from your regular, like, things you don't like. Don't try them there. This is not the place to try
The
it.
standards. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, oh, I love pizza. I'm going to try a little pizza. I'm not going to go, oh, I hate steak. I'm going to get this big old steak and then eat don't venture too far away from
I
your
want some
palate.
escargot. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, don't do that at the buffet. Okay, and then third tip would be try. Don't just like fill your plate. This is where Brian fucks up every time. I've noticed.
Yeah.
You go, oh, I'm gonna have a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And don't just like pile your plate because you're gonna eat all that and you're gonna be like, well,
One plate, done.
that's it. I'm done. Yeah, you want to eat the thing that is the best. Basically, you don't want to eat bullshit.
And you're looking for the best.
You're looking for the best around, and no one's ever gonna get you down.
And you don't know where it is. So you got to keep your eyes peeled, right? You got to keep your your taste buds, you got to shock them.
And you may want to walk multiple times. So you have your little sampler plate that you just built yourself.
Yeah.
You may want to walk the floor because what I've had is like the guy who's at the omelet station. You
Yeah.
may not have known there was an omelet station there because there's nobody manning it.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
strike one.
Now somebody's there. And you've already had too much to eat. You missed them.
You fucked up.
You're already at the dessert table, okay? Which that's another thing.
I like to load up on just like because I do like
Mashed potatoes.
No, the complimentary beers. I'm just like, grabbing a bunch of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, they do that at our local casino here,
Yeah. Oh, it's good times.
the Viejas. Anyone who's
It's like 2 crap beers, but still, I'm like, they're beers.
there's still beers.
It's
Yeah,
just gonna get you drunk. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I like.
yeah, but the ones I've been at in Vegas, they don't have they don't do like the complimentary beers.
Oh, that's fucked up. Do you ever like have like ones that you seek out first? You mentioned pizza. Is that your go-to? Or
I
you doing
mean,
like,
I like to fly by it, and if it looks like shit, it probably is shit.
and I still grab it.
Oh yeah, I still
Well,
grab a
duh.
slice.
Yeah, because even shitty pizza is still pretty
But-
good pizza.
If it doesn't taste good,
This
is your opportunity to be like wasteful.
yeah,
Okay, take a bite, throw it on a plate in the center of the table. Gone, done. Never
way-
gonna have it again.
It's kind of like you're letting everybody know that like the pizza is shitty. So you're putting that out there like a flag
Yeah.
for everybody who's
You
walking
got 8
past you.
people in your group. You're like, watch out for this bitch.
This pizza sucks.
Yeah.
But then you go back and finish it anyways.
Yeah, you may take some. It's looking better now.
My guard is down. Let me have that again.
I think I've heard you're supposed to start with like soup or salad just to get your digestive system going.
Yeah.
So you can eat for longer. And then you're also supposed to take a shit before you go in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can free up some space.
There you go. These are these are the tips.
These are first world problems. We want to eat more.
Yeah.
But
oh God.
Things I look for, that's what you asked. I like I love turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that's like a basic bro food, I know. But if the turkey is juicy, then
so am I.
I love Lucy. No. If the turkey is juicy, I like to go for that. And they usually they carve it up for you. I like to get the Thanksgiving kind of things out of the way.
Yeah.
And then I venture into I'll take some sushi. I'll take a little bit of, not the raw fish sushi. I don't do that at buffets. It sits out. I don't think they really do that. I've never really seen. I don't do crab legs. That's too much work. You have to fight for your food.
No.
Plus, you can lacerate your larynx with the shells.
That's another tip.
Yeah.
Save your larynx.
Yeah, man.
A survival tip.
It's what we should do is I'm having a hard time visualizing the food. I think we need to do either a live stream at the buffet or we just need to do a podcast there.
A live.
So you can talk while I'm grabbing my food and I come back and you're like, "Oh, Kyle, what'd you get?"
I could just do a play-by-play.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, you're looking at me in the distance. Well, looks like he's stopping at nope, skipping over the prime rib. Yep, that's classic Kyle move.
Yeah, classic Kyle move. Oh. It looks like he
oh, interesting. He stopped by and grabbed a strawberry cheesecake on the way.
Oh, and he dropped it, and he's just like, oh no, he's just
what a champ.
He's just pretend like he didn't do it, and so cleaning crew is and he
smashes it.
He stomped it and
grinds it into the grout,
grinds it into the carpet, and then he cleaning it up like a dog, and then laughing. Oh, he's actually laughing hysterically now.
Jesus Christ!
I'm doing a play-by-play of you.
Yeah. I guess that's basically it.
Yeah.
Now I really want to go to a buffet. And
yeah. So that's it, folks. All right. I think that's about it for today. We're gonna rein it in here. So before we go, we just want to thank you guys for tuning into the show. If you guys like what you hear, you guys can join us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search the Tone Jerks. You guys can join the group and follow us along there. And if you guys really like what you hear, you guys can leave a review on iTunes for us.
Yeah, we'll read it.
Yeah, we're gonna read them on the air. Don't care how honest you guys are. Let us have it. So let us. We're the jerks. You guys can be jerks back to us. We'll read your reviews. So, and then also, if you guys do want to help support the show, you guys can do so by joining us on Patreon. So for as little as $1 a month, you guys can help support the show. But at $2 a month, you guys get an extra episode every week. So if we record maybe half an hour or whatever, so you get a little extra behind the scenes Tone Jerks action, the juicy type of shit.
Oh yeah.
And so we wanted to give a shout out to the people who have been helping us out so far. So we're gonna run down a whole name drop. We're doing the name drop here.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So we want our buddy RJ from Telly Talks, the YouTube channel. Our buddy Johnny Ray. Co and Paul from the Flippin' Flippers podcast.
Yep.
Abe Newman, Michael Newman.
Yeah.
No relation. Jim Bowers.
Yeah.
We have Like My Pedals. We also have Rom Jorn. We have Doug Gahn. You haven't got pronunciation on that one. And we have you said it correctly last time.
Yeah.
What's his name?
This is Will Lehue.
Lehue, not Leahy.
Not Leahy, not Jim Leahy.
So Lehue.
That's what I was modeling it after.
Yeah. And then we have Fat Foot Effects.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much. And even thank you guys for tuning in to the show. We will see you next week. We love you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.